shouldn't argue with an invisible face for nothing, you know.
Well, we've
Because you're
all
not really seeing the individual who you're dealing with when you're actually like trying to get your point across or trying to be open-minded and open up someone else's peripheral to let them see, hey, you know what? Always see the other side before you just see your side. You know, that's just how it works. You know,
yeah.
you know.
Well, we see. You know, the really the only position on the campaign is getting petition signatures. But Monday next week, I have to go down to Springfield and deliver our petition packets to Illinois Election Commission. So we already have enough sigs. But I mean, if you wanted to do signatures, it's only $1 a signature, $10 a sheet, and then you'd have to mail them to me. I'd have to get them by Saturday. You could get signatures for the campaign, but I'll tell you, like, we're past that part and coming on Clubhouse to have conversations in political debate rooms on behalf of the campaign. I can pay you for that. It's
So
not a
that's
lot of money. We don't have that much money left, but it would be a big help for the campaign, and you could have fun and make money and just do it in your
what are you
living room.
running for? What position you're running for?
It's the
Who
16th.
you're running against?
It's U.S. Federal Congress in the 16th district against Darren LaHood.
I got a couple of friends that are in Congress, and trust me, I got better stories than fucking Red Rex Northcott with Luis Gutierrez, and I can go on and on and on. That'll get in. I don't know what. Dude that just ran here less than 90 days ago. He knew he was going to, when he gets connected here, but he still backed him. You know, it's all about the gift of gab. You know, you can bring up issues and all of that stuff, whatever. But it's something to think about. What I would do is give me a day to think about it, and I'll text you back. I'm not really worried about all that other stuff. You know, all it is what is your campaign? I mean, what are the three strong things that you're sued? Everybody always go with medical, education, and unemployment. You know, it's I get it, dude. I've been around politics all my life. You know, I'm born and raised Chicago. You know, so I do have that gift of gab. You know, I have worked the nightclub scene, so I'm an executive chef. You know what I mean? So I've been around. I just retired like 3 years ago. I just got tired of it. You know, so it's
Well,
not
this is
working. I don't know
something
my way
new.
around. And
This
I
is
used to
new.
know a lot of, huh?
This is kind of new. It's called social audio, and Clubhouse is very political. So it's basically just conversational, and then I record it all and I publish it across multiple platforms. So I'm a filmmaker, and I've got over 30,000, 50,000 videos up on YouTube. So all the campaign stuff I record and I put it onto YouTube and Instagram and X. And so that's part of the other side of the
The
business.
campaign thing first, talking to people, I would probably hurt a lot of people's feelings. And I would hurt their feelings.
Yeah, you can do it anonymously. You don't have to say who you
No,
are.
I don't do shit anonymously. If you talk foolish, I gotta give you your shit so I can shut you down. But the point is that when I get to politics, it's not like I'm abrupt about it or whatever. But I am very rude when it comes to politics. You know, the baddest motherfucker I ever seen in my day was fucking Daly. You didn't fuck with none of you guys say. We tell him in a minute. Keep talking and you won't come back. Keep coming, you won't come back to the next thing. You know what? I didn't talk to you, they'll talk to you. You know, and this guy was always under investigation. They couldn't get him. After he died, he had the best way to get out, dude. You know, he was the best look back bastard I've ever met. Who give a fuck what nobody says? Take care of the blacks, take care of the Spicks, take care of the whites, and hey, take care of my fucking people that come down here. Don't fuck with the tourists. That's what the tourists. Everybody's gotta go. But this is the point, you know. That's the things that people don't see. I don't see things black and white. You know what? I need to tell you, I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white, dude. I will call you as I see it, you know. Ghetto motherfuckers are ghetto motherfuckers. You don't work, but you sit here and you talk foolish. If you talk foolish, I have to correct you because it's not normal. I don't like ignorance. Keep it
Well,
going.
I think most people agree with you, but
The
people
people that
are.
don't like it, I've been watching all morning YouTube with all these people crying over Snap. They're not gonna get rid of it, but you fuckers can't handle 30 days without it. Fuck, you've been getting it all your life for free. You know, who said that it is for you to have? That's a fucking gift. That's an honor to get that. And you listen to all the insults, they forget about how nice it was to them. It's like being in a relationship. As soon as you leave each other, the first thing that happens is you're a piece of shit. No, you weren't saying that when I was looking at you the other day. No, you weren't. I'm saying? So, I have a flip side to the coin too, always. So the clubhouse, I'm gonna do you a favor. I already had the app in here,
Oh, that's cool.
but how does this work? What, you got like 5 rooms of people sitting and chatting?
Yeah, I don't have a room open now, but there are, what I would do is if
How
you,
about this? You text me when you do have the room, open it up, and I can guarantee you, if you get 4 or 5 people in there, I can light it up to where people be so energetic and responsive back and forth. They get a little controversy, but kind of keep it decent, but keep it nasty clean. And I guarantee you, give it like 30 days and you'll laugh.
all right, well, let's try it. The whole thing is to create something, and we don't need to
You're
really,
trying to create content.
exactly, yeah.
You don't want the negative stuff, but you want it to be controversial.
No, yeah,
Say,
just
hey,
I would say just be genuine and authentic, and that's gonna give us the best, reels and shorts and content.
I'm from Chicago. I'm gonna get this real, dude. I'm old school. I'm a baby boomer, dude. I'm a baby boomer. But to make a long story short, yeah, what you can do is let me know when you open the room. Just send me a text. I already got you downloaded. I had my thing here. I couldn't get my picture to pop up, so you didn't even know I was already in there.
Okay, cool. Let me text you right now. I'll create the room.
How many rooms do you have?
I've been on this app for many years, and they've deleted many, many accounts because we cause so much conflict on this app. But
Of course, they do that anyway. There's a few people I know that they've done 4 or 5 of them. They clip them right off of there. But you gotta remember, Chicago's big on it. A lot of people don't know
yeah, that's
Chicago's
true.
biggest celebrities. Party with a lot of them too. We used to work across from the Park West. We're the only restaurant we opened Big Man's restaurant too. My boss was the only living restaurant.
Is the Park West is in Lincoln Park?
Yeah, right there before you get to the zoo and the museum. There's a DuPaul area. We had 11 bars, Rush Street, DuPaul. Even they have blue floats and by where the state Valentine Day. They took care of me too.
Mm.
So, but yeah, the ideal is, yeah, I can kind of get what you're saying. You get a little bit of political, kind of go with the mainstream of what's going on in the world, push the direction, and push it and push it.
Okay, this.
The worst thing about it, I wanted to do stand up 10 years ago, but I was like, Bill, you're too old to hit the road.
Well, we could do some stuff on YouTube, and that's the best, place to test content and see and brand it. Because if you like doing stand up, I mean,
Once you start hearing me talk, you realize you're kind of hilarious and you're kind of dangerous. I used to work above the Second City. We owned a club called the Black Orchid. I've been around this ballpark. I'm not your typical dude.
well, I mean, it's a good thing to put it on YouTube. A lot of people like to just, to me, I mean,
I'm black in Puerto Rican. You would never even know that when you're talking to me, dude. You would never even know it. Even my name, you wouldn't even know it. But the point is that yeah, just have different creative. I don't know about the content. I go where things take me. There's days where you go like, dude, you're on fire. Man, it makes you all Erica. Then you turn around that day, you might like have that expectation that day the spark's not there. But I mean, out of 30 days, you're not gonna spark at least 28.
yeah, that's what it is. You film 100 things, and you get one thing, and you got to film 1,000 things to get 10 things.
And trust me, I like to shut people down. It's all good. It's all good. I'll try it out and see what happens. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, this
Listen. Go ahead.
this other girl, Nicole Walters, she also responded to the ad, so she's also on Clubhouse today, and I just sent her the link to this room as well. It's called Campaign to Elect Candidate Congressman John Kitover.
So how many rooms do you have?
We just have one. We just have one room open. I have a lot of other accounts, but I have phones all over the place, and I don't know. I could try to find the other phone with more connections, but this would just be like a quick test because what I'd like you to do is rebrand your profile for the campaign, and then go into the bigger debate rooms where there's hundreds of people in bigger stages, and raise your hand and say, introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm a Clubhouse online social influencer for the campaign to elect John. I'm here to debate you on the bullshit that you're talking about right here. Whatever they're talking about.
But I was like, they get rid of SNAP to the poor people, but at the same time, aren't you guys thieves? So the thieves are robbing the thieves. There's no honor among thieves. There's no honor. But it's, there's just like little sly shit you get on them. And when somebody bites into it, just you open up a can of worms. I'm getting ready to put Clubhouse on right now. What time are they going now or no?
Yeah, it's live now. I'll be here for like the next, hour, 2 hours. So.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and check in real quick.
Okay, sounds good. I'll talk to you on there.
All right.
Okay, thanks, babe. Hey, my friend, I'm onboarding somebody who I responded to a Craigslist ad, and his job is just to do Clubhouse. This is Eric here in the audience.
Welcome, Eric. How's it going, big dog?
This is
Can
my.
you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah,
Can you?
this is my friend Zach. This is my friend El Normo here in the audience as well. These are gentlemen I know from this app.
Sounds great. How's your day treating you guys? Everybody doesn't talk
Good.
about water.
I'm going to go teach a driving lesson very soon.
El Normo here is a filmmaker, director, works, loves politics, loves America, loves Israel. And Eric here responded to an ad to work for the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John. And so Eric and I just had about a 10-15 minute phone call talking about politics and Eric's background. And he loves comedy, and he's worked in restaurant groups and entertainment, nightlife, and Eric's an OG Chicagoan.
That's not pretty much all that, but it's all good. We're all normal people. It's just every once in a while when you tell somebody, wow, you've done a lot. So what kind of movies you direct? Is that Norm?
Yeah, I'm mostly nonfiction.
Non-fiction? Do you do a lot of local, or you just do like...
I'm sorry? Beg your pardon?
You do a lot of... Can you hear me now?
I just didn't hear the word at the end of the sentence. Workle? Do I do a lot of what?
Sorry. I have a local...
You don't have to apologize.
You do a lot of local movies, or do you do a lot of independents?
Those are not categories.
It's kind of... I've seen a lot of people, because working in the industry, we have a lot of people, if they're not trying to be a model, they're trying to be an actress, they're not trying to be an actress, they're trying to fuck a millionaire, sorry for swearing. Lost for words?
No, I have no response to people that are trying to, in your words, fuck a millionaire. I don't have any opinion on that subject.
It was just a small comment. It was not to intimidate nobody or embarrass nobody.
I'm not intimidated or embarrassed. I just didn't have a comment.
I said sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
So this is also Zen
So
down there.
Have you done anything that's out in the market that's noticeable?
Yeah, I've done hundreds of things.
Awesome.
So thanks for coming to the room, El Normo. I texted El Normo. El Normo is been on this app debating the biggest social miscreants, most potentially violent domestic terrorists, terrorist promoters, terrorist organizers, um, and we would hope that federal law enforcement is listening in on anarchistic, violent terrorist conversations in order to track and possibly arrest some individuals. But this app, because it is a private conference call app, does facilitate some of the most toxic communication um, anywhere on the internet. And so, you can get caught in their web of despair and lies and bullshit very easily and waste a lot of time with a bunch of losers sitting in their underpants, calling for violence. So, this app is full of political vulgarity, leftist, socialist, Marxist, communist, liberals, Democrats. And that's why, Eric, I invited you here, because it's a good place to campaign, because you can have heated conversations and not get punched in the nose.
Well, I could get punched in the nose, trust me. I've actually worked with a lot of people from the Middle East, come across my path in my life. And sometimes I always wonder if they were trying to convert me or try to, what's a good word of saying it? Thought that would be easy to be manipulated. But a lot of times, it's kind of like the mob. They're sitting in front of your face and you don't even know it. You know that, right? They're sitting right in front of your face. And some of them are probably here right now as you speak, But the biggest thing about when you're dealing with terrorists and stuff is that you have to understand that, I'm an American, number one. Don't ever get it twisted. And I have served. But the point what I would make is that we do a lot of damage to other countries. And sometimes when it falls back on us, we don't take it easily. If you kill one, then we got to come over there and kill everybody. But the only difference that makes the United States different from terrorists is terrorists are what you call cowards. Cowards are the kind of people that run around and kill innocent people. And that's not how it's supposed to be. And a lot of times when you do go to war like Afghanistan and, you go through all that with Gaddafi, I go on and on and on from Pineapple Face and on and on and on. The point is that we're civilized. Did it go off or something?
No, I can hear you. Yeah. I mean, we are civilized, but, I'm just saying that in terms of like.
We got compassion too, though. That's the difference. We don't sit in our country and behead our own people. We don't sit in our own country and why you see like Saddam. He's got all the countries, what do you call it? Whatever you call it, you put in a museum that's supposed to be their history. That's what you call a dictator. Even like when you guys look at you guys might not like me, but I really wouldn't care. Trump is following Putin's put Trump on the map. He told them fake news. Putin started all this shit. Nobody's paying attention. When these puppets made fun of Putin, he took MTV and he put them in jail. And then he let them out. And he took their publication and all that for himself. And those are the things you don't understand with dictators. And these guys say it's fake news, And I was a big Trump fan before he did what he did. But what makes me mad is he's not a politician. I don't think he thinks rationally. But, sometimes you got to throw in some grapes on top of the apples and oranges to mix shit up. I don't know. But sometimes I look at him and I'm like, wow, but, the politics thing is, he may be good. You know why we're not having any wars? Because they know he's crazy enough to say, oh, I want some of that. Let's do it. You know that, right? That's why they're not messing with us. Why do you think he went down there and invited all those Arabs the last term he did? He let them know, dude, you can look, you can play, but guess what, dude? I'm just letting you know, I'll fuck you up. He's kind of, he's irrational, dude. He's the guy you want if we go to war, though. In the office, I hate to say it. It doesn't make sense, but it's the truth. You're very quiet. I don't even know it. You know that, right? And
Yeah, I agree with you. Um,
Say you have a real quiet room.
yeah, I know. I texted some people. Chris is down there. He plays a lot of audiobooks on this app as well because I try to mix it up and not just have conversations with a lot of the people on here because it is a waste of time. It's not intelligent, and but Chris down there plays a lot of good audiobooks too. But so I mean, you got what it takes. You got the gift of gab, and this app. You know, I can pay you to come on here for 1 hour a day. I'd give you $10 to have a nice cup of coffee and a muffin on me every day. For not every day, but with a max budget.
I do it. I don't care about $10. $10 is not. I'm retired, dude. I retired myself. But what does it tell you is I'll give you a good background. I'm a poor guy who came from Chicago, dude. I should never even lived, bro. Here I am, 60 years old. If you looked at me, I look like I'm 40 because I'm in great shape. I've worked all my life. Secondary is I've had like 5 different life experiences. Who'd ever thought I worked around yuppies, did a 360. Some great rich guys, they liked my tenacity, and I ended up in this process the way it is. As far as politics, dude, I've been around all these kind of people, they would get mad at Daley and say, like, you're putting all the money on Michigan Avenue, you're not putting nothing in the neighborhoods. And, Daley's just an arrogant dude. You elected Danny Davis for the last 40 years. You knew what the fuck you were getting. Why you guys started putting this guy in office? That's your to-go-to, man. You get what I'm saying? That's the stuff that I like about politics, if you can answer it. And sometimes it's arrogant, but the arrogance is the truth. And that's the meat and potatoes of politics, And I wouldn't care if Daley stole $200 million. I'm quite sure Trump gave him a lot of money to put that tower there. Don't get it twisted. If I had the Tribune build it out. But at the same time, you let Trump know, dude, this is my city. You know what I mean? But the point is, when you're looking at politics, it's not about what you do. It's, if you're going to go into office and you got 10 agendas, you should at least complete 3 of them because you're not going to get all 10. But you got to pick 10. And out of that 10, you got to come through on 3 of them. If you don't come through on 3 of them, it was a waste of time. Even if you're a Democrat, I'll make you mad. I'll vote for Republican now, believe it or not, before I deal with another Democrat. This woman was the first, whatever, minority and a woman to be a vice president. Her job was to build momentum and build up speed so that way, when it was time for her to run, she would have a resume to carry her. When this guy got sick, she just fucking rode his coattail, and that's why she ain't president. And I get tired of people talking about you don't get it. No, you don't fucking get it. You're the first woman. You're supposed to lead. Look at Barack. He may not be the greatest, but at least he left a mark. You kind of get what I'm saying? And with the politics is, a lot of people forget that people want to put the people in the office, but at the same time, when they get into office, there's so many backdoor deals. Like this not smoking in the bars and all that. Some dude got caught cheating his fucking wife, dude. So she says, hey, well, I'll rest this, dude, that's some bullshit. You go to the bar, dude, you want to smoke a cigarette, dude, have a beer, shoot some pool, and tell a bunch of lies. Matter of fact, it's the devil's playground. What do you care if they're smoking? And those are the things like with politics. They pick the smallest things that are not that important, dude. Who cares about a fucking bathroom if a woman or a man in it? Just put bathroom on it and shut the fucking door. But it's always got to be a spectrum. But when you work with politics, what happens is people pick these agendas, and these people, they get so quickly manipulated. You'd be surprised. I live by myself, and believe it or not, it's been like that for the last 5 years, after my divorce. I found out my freedom is worth more than dealing with other people's sanity. Because people have to learn to pick and choose the right fight. And politics, though, even Chicago, though, I'm from Chicago, though, I'm glad I left after Daley left. It's a beautiful city. I go there 3 times a week, and I rent a hotel room.
Yeah. Well, Clubhouse is Mountain is here. So Mountain is a conservative guy. Mountain loves to come on here and debate. And I chatted with him 2 days ago with this other pretty prolific user on this app. Mountain, this is Eric. Eric responded to an ad to work for the campaign to elect John. Eric, this is Mountain.
How's it going, Mountain?
How's it going?
Oh, it's always a good day. My days are always good. Even when it's bad, it's good. Don't you know that?
Yeah, for sure.
You know? But yeah, I don't like to debate politics, but you know how politics is. Sometimes you dig into something, somebody might like it. You might like Robert Redford. I might like Paul Newman. You get what I'm saying?
Sure, for sure.
You know?
Sorry, I'm driving a truck right now.
So how's your day treating you, Mountain?
Man, good. I'm just being a truck driver today, just getting loads of dirt and rock all day. I'm usually a sprinkler technician, but it's kind of winding down, you know, the season is. So.
Yeah. I was helping out a friend. He's a contractor. He does a lot of kitchens, bathrooms in town. And I kind of did that for the summer. And he's like, "You'll do it." I said, "Yeah, just give me $1,000 a week." You know, I mean, this is something just to keep busy. I get it with you too. I've been retired for about like 3 or 4 years. And man, it's harder trying to retire because you're so used to working and moving around and being in charge and being in control. It's like, damn, this is what the hell it's all about. Dude, I'm ready to go back to work.
Yeah, no, it'll be nice. We get laid off here like November 14th, and I'll just be drawing unemployment for the winter time. So,
That's cool. Do you enjoy having that off time?
definitely, it's nice.
Married? Kids?
Nope, I'm not married.
It's because you're on the road. I told my wife I think I should take up truck driving. She goes, "Yeah," and we're getting a divorce.
Yeah, no kidding. One second, I just go over to you.
What was that again?
He's pulling off the road
I
or
didn't
something.
hear what you said.
He's driving a truck. I don't. He said he's probably pulling off the road. So, this is the campaign. You know, I think that Eric, I'm a fiscal conservative. I think that $37 trillion in debt is totally unsustainable. $1 trillion a year in interest payments. So my two propositions are to reduce the National Defense Authorization Act, and also cut Medicare, Medicaid. I think the fact that the Democrats are screaming, and the government is shut down, that if we don't provide more money to Medicare, Medicaid, or keep the budgets as is, they won't reopen the government. To me, it's all just for corporate profits, for Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, United Healthcare, Big Pharma. Let's just say 1,500 major corporations derive all of their profit from our borrowing and spending $4 trillion a year in Medicare, Medicaid. So I think if we want to preserve what we got, we keep Social Security. We make the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines more lethal than ever before. But we also stop any wasteful projects and programs that they're engaged in. And we just make them insanely lethal, fighting force to go deploy anywhere at a moment's notice. But I think if we want to keep what we got, we have to be, Protestants, Protestant savers, saving for a rainy day, paying down the debts. That's my position. And so Darren LaHood, the guy I'm running against, every year we create $2 trillion in debt. He's been in the office 5 terms, 10 years, $20 trillion in debt.
Is he a Democrat?
His daddy's, he's a Republican, but the truth is he's not a fiscal Republican. He's a big borrower, big spender, big taxer Republican. And
you know what our biggest problem is? Quit saving everybody else to deal with at home. Isn't it horrible where the tourists can go right on Fulton and come out the park, and when they go under that bridge, they have to look at homeless people. And that's your tourists walking past it. They don't even take care of what's going on at home. Even like you said, take care of veterans. They shouldn't even wait to be in line. If he says I'm a veteran, he pulls out that, he should be pushed in front of the line unless there's a life or death situation. But you have to look at things. He has to go to a VA hospital. Secondary is, I am a Democrat, but they fucked me up so much, dude, that I would just vote for the right person because they just been passing this money out like it's garbage. And the thing about it is, I've learned that when you watch these interviews, the reason you get so many Democrats irate is because they've been getting it free for so long. They think they're supposed to get it for free. And the more they put those Democrats in, they keep coming up with more free, free, free. You know what I mean? And I grew up with a paper route. I've been working since I was 8 years old. I shined shoes, newspapers. I was even a Boy Scout. You get what I'm saying? So the difference is people forget, but then again, you got this new generation, you know, and you listen to the shit. Sometimes these people talking don't have. Oh my God, it has nothing to do with the filter. It's their thinking process. You know, and if you look at anything in the year 2000, that's pretty much crushed. I got a son that was born in 84, and I got a daughter at 89. And if you talk to those kids, you would think you were talking to Jackson Brown. He's old. You get what I'm saying? So the point is that this new generation has a different thing. And secondary is that, you know, with people running around with all the violence and stuff, you know, it's not so much about the violence. I really care about none of it because I look at people how they push them up to be martyrs. When you look at their backgrounds, you can see, dude, the guy is 25 that you said they killed him, Black Lives Matter. But the point is, what I would make too, I get a lot of that stuff you're saying, you know, and the reason that the Medicare, Blue Cross, and all that stuff is screwed up, and you really know why it's screwed up? People will go to the emergency room just because they coughed when someone else could be sitting out there that really needs a doctor for an hour and a half in the waiting room. And, you know, the other thing, too, is neglecting it. You know what I mean? Everything that's supposed to be set in play is supposed to be set in play for if a person needs it. But, you know, everything can start turning into a business. It's just the way it is. It's in politics does business the way it does. You know, sometimes people look at politics as like, you know, the thieves are watching the thieves now. Sorry. You know, that's how it works, you know. I would love to meet an honest person and shake their hand. You know, I helped a guy run for campaign for mayor out here in Rockford, dude. Dude, the guy put God first every time he talked. I mean, that guy lost, and he knew he was going to lose. But, you know, he figured he'd do it, whatever worked out for him. When he congratulated him, you'd have thought he won. That's how humble that guy was. He was very humble. He goes, you know, mine was always about Medicare, education, and he had something else. But to make a long story short, he says, God bless the mayor. I hope he does a great job. He understood what I ran for, and da-da-da-da-da. He's got a strong, yada-da-da-da. And he continued on and on and on. I was like, wow, you think he was like, savages. They come here, and I hate to tell you, I work with a lot of foreigners. They come here, and they say we're crazy. They come here and say, but in my country, you get what I'm saying? And in my mind, I'm like, but why are you here? You know, why are you here? So what happens is people come to this country, they want the benefits, but they don't want to pay into it. They just don't want to pay into it.
Yeah.
You know, the terrorist thing, I'll tell you, it's your secret, though. The terrorists, half of them are sitting back, laid back, dude. They've been here, they're not going anywhere. You know, I've met a lot of people. Trust me, I've met a lot of people. I had a bunch of friends up and down Clark Street, not the shitty neighborhoods, but, you know, and they own businesses and everything. And sometimes you wonder if that spouse is just a lot. Some of them might be financing herself, you know, but they're here. But, you know, I don't know. When you say about the politics, you know, the same thing is if this guy's been in office for quite a while, he's probably already got a following, and he's probably got a handful of votes that puts him way ahead of you. Do you have a background in politics?
Just ran for Chicago committee person, and the Republican Chicago GOP sued me twice, spent $10,000 getting me off the ballot, and installed a yes woman so they wouldn't lose a single vote. And now Darren LaHood, who's running for lieutenant governor with Darren Bailey, um, has taken over the Chicago GOP. So I have a little bit of experience, but you know this is a long shot, and I've only spent 1,500, maybe 2,000 on this campaign. Raised 600, put in 1,500 of my own. So, anyways, it's a small campaign, and but again, this is like a publicity and credit building exercise, and
Well, the first time to wake, and you also too, you can wake people up because the name could be recalled somewhere down the line if you do it. My son Godfather ran for alderman too. He lost by 800 votes, and he really loved politics, and he ran over there off Logan Square area. I'm a man. I'm not gonna remember the year. I kind of put a little work for him. He ran to be alderman, so I kind of get it, and he did pretty good, I don't know if he'll ever run again, but he worked for Coca-Cola. He repairs all their refrigeration stuff like that. Make a long story short, so I do understand that. When Jane Byrne, I don't know how old you are,
yeah.
but when Jane Byrne ran, we helped get her in office, and then we did the same thing with Luis Gutierrez, and he was an FLL in one of those Puerto Rican national terrorists back there. A lot of people, he's sitting in Congress. That's the joke. When they're the biggest joke, when Harold Washington died, he was there coked out and nobody even realized it. That's why I said, the politics, I'd rather, if I ran for office, the first thing I would tell them, I've been arrested, I was a gang member, I'm a piece of shit. But guess what? I'm going to give you everything you want to hear. So that way you ain't got to ask me nothing that I would freak out over. And then I tell them straight out, now let's get to business. That's all it is. Don't give me apple pie. I don't want, what do they call it, Alamo and all that. Tell me what you got for me. And that's what people do when they send people down there to try to put them in those positions. I don't know if you know the black guy. I think he's from New Jersey. He's a light-skinned black guy. I think he's a senator.
Yeah, Cory Booker.
I can't remember his name. He's young too. He's about like 38 years old.
Are you talking about Booker?
Is that his name? He's light skinned.
Yeah.
Like he's got hazel eyes. He's his mom and dad's only kid. I think he was a lawyer before he got into politics.
Yeah, Cory Booker.
Grace
Here is from New Jersey, and Grace here worked in politics in Jersey.
What's his name?
I think you're talking about Cory Booker, but
She's telling her in the background. She said he's a disaster.
I didn't say that. I haven't said a word. The TV's in the background, but no one said it's a disaster.
Your voice is so low. Don't ever take it wrong. Sometimes my voice is deep, and sometimes it's like soft. I've had people call me on the phone and be like, "Have you ever DJ'd before?" And I'm like, "No." But yeah, I was gonna say, but yeah, I can see him. I can see him trying to run in like the next 20 years. He's probably about like 40 years old. But you have to understand too, it's not so much as who you put in the office. Sometimes we're stuck with what we got. And if we work with what we got, then you're doing something, Believe it or not, Trump is really not that bad. I'm glad that you have a guy that makes everybody freak out because they don't know what's going to happen next. And that's how it should be. I hate to tell you, you don't know what's coming up next. But I can guarantee you, if you ever talk about war, they ain't going to play with Trump. I don't think nobody wants to play. Well, as soon as he get out of office, one of these countries will act stupid. Trust what I tell you. Nobody wants to play with him right now. But the economical finances in the city, we're never going to get out of that. That's just the way it is. But, what a lot of people don't look at with Trump is that they're looking at other things, but he has to give his friends $1 billion contract. He has to give them that if he's willing to make them bring work back to our country. And when you bring work back to the country, people get mad because they're like, he's taking care of his friends. Well, he's not going to go to Cornbread and Boogaloo and next, hey, let's open up a pork chop sandwich. But the point is that in order to bring the money back in the infrastructure, all that money that ran out of here needs to come back here. You know why they're doing our plastics and they're bringing all that shit from overseas? Because somebody was environmentalisty, didn't like that fucking, whatever you want to call it, toxic in the air. Now look what you did. Now they're selling us our shit back. Or you get these countries that they take their stuff to another country to co-pack. That's not cool. It's just not cool. Remember when I grew up, there were Schwinn bicycles. There were Snap-ons. You know, if a Snap-off tube broke, man, you could go to any store, they take it and replace it. It's just the way it was back then. But the point, what I would say about it is that we're like other countries. They're our landlords because you have to depend on us to give us their bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just like when Trump told them, no, we're going to tax your ass if you want to bring your shit in here. You got to pay more. You know what I'm saying? It used to be where if we take 100 of your cars, you got to bring in 100 of ours over to your country. You know, it's not even a fair trade anymore. You know, and I'm not a racist by all means. My whole family's mixed. I got Polish, Black, Puerto Rican. My wives were all Irish, real Irish women. And the point that I make is that they let the foreigners come in here and they let them set up house. Their money's not even spent here like that. It's just not spent here like that. And this is supposed to be a land of opportunity where everybody gets a fair share. Yeah, well, sometimes who told you to come here and rape our country? You know? And I was told a lot. I don't care. Dude, I've got in the car with a cab driver. He told me I was a cotton nigga. You know, so I didn't know if I wanted to beat his ass, but, you know, being who I am, I got out of the cab. But this is a guy who's in another country. And however that came out of his mouth, I don't really care, you know. But the point is that, you know, a lot of this stuff that goes on around this country's kind of whacked out, dude. If they don't get it back on track, it ain't never going to. I'm glad I only got maybe 30 more years left. It sounds dumb, but, you know, 30 more years left it is. You know, then I'll go talk to the guy or walk into the light. You know, but, you know, if you feel strong about it, how many signatures have you gotten so far? Can you hear me?
What was the question?
Yeah, we can hear, John, now we can hear you.
No,
Yeah, John.
I have a ranch style house, and what happens is some of the spots they kind of go in and out. I'm sorry about that. I was asking
Eric, we heard you. We didn't hear candidate.
I was asking John how's this campaign going with the signatures?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, John.
It's good.
Go ahead.
Most of our signatures came out of the Rockford area, and we're at about 1,230 signatures. We only need about 700, and we deposit them October 27th, Monday in Springfield at the Illinois Election Commission.
Oh, so all you got to do is hang outside of blood banks. Get them all to sign them. That's not a good sign. I'm gonna figure out a way where maybe you can fax me some papers over here or whatever.
Do you have a printer at home?
Nah. Believe it or not, when I sold my condo and moved out of Chicago, my twin sister had me move out here. Long story short, and she had like 5 or 6 women, and I picked the average one, and I kind of made Rockford my home. But to make a long story short, I don't keep nothing in the house because I don't want to have nothing to do with business. I actually threw my desk away. I threw my desk away and everything. The only thing I keep is the file. Okay, I have a house, don't get it wrong. But I try not to deal with none of that because
That's
I always
smart.
end up helping people.
You just need a coffee table.
Huh?
You only need a coffee table.
Pretty cool.
Amos down here is from Israel. He lives, in Israel. He on a kibbutz.
Amos, מה נשמע?
You know to dance? Folk Israeli dancing? Really like it.
I did folk Israeli dancing forever.
So listen to the music and join the party. Folk Israeli dancing.
I
We
love
should
it.
dance. We talk all the time. Dance.
I know, we should dance.
Clubhouse. Always arguments, shouting.
I'm done with it, Amos. I'm done.
But to be honest, I can't hear you because I'm in a big party celebration right now. So enjoy yourself, and I will join you. I'll dance, and you will argument.
Yeah, Eric.
Is anyone here arguing?
Eric, people for years on this app have been screaming at each other, making death threats. People have gotten killed on this app, all kinds of horrible things, and people just waste years having the same conversation over and over again to no end. But people find it entertaining.
What area are you from? I'm Chicago, north, south, I don't know, Cubs fan, Sox fan, that'll make it easy, da 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 da.
Yeah, I grew up on northwest side, and I'm a Cubs fan. But you know, I like the Sox too. I mean, I like tailgating. Can't do that down in Wrigley, but
My son-in-law has season tickets. I don't even want to talk about them. My family, my brother, he flies down because, you know, they got a certain amount of games that they do in other countries. Basically, you know, all they're doing is trying to, like, expose them, and because they love the American sports and they do a lot of that traveling. My son-in-law, he does the Celtic Gating all the time. You know, my daughter, God bless her soul, you know, she just goes and, you know, make sure they get home. If not, they'll rent a room out. What I was going to tell you was the reason that I don't have the diversity or a filter is because I've been around everybody. I'm a chef. I only work around tourist area. So I get to see people from all around the world. You know what I mean? So when, you know, and it is bad because, like, when we talk about, like you were saying, like, the little war stuff and all, I got great friends that are from the Middle East, dude. And, you know, I hope they're genuine, their agenda is genuine, that they're here. But, dude, they talk to me, they love me, they call me their brother. You know what I mean? And then, you know, there's just people who screw things up for other people. And what messes people's heads up is you can't let one person control your thinking process over a whole content of other people. You know, I don't know what you know about your politics. You may be smarter than me because it's mostly in your field. But I always thought there was Muslims and then Muslims, and the difference is between the Muslims and the Muslims, there's the good and there's the bad. That's just the way it works, you know. But, you know, for the same thing, like you said, with Middle East or Afghanistan, we're down there 20 years. We trained you for over 20 years. We leave for a week and you let them take everything. Imagine the guys who got killed over there over that stuff, dude. That's not cool, dude. And I work with people that were from Afghanistan that were Muslims, and they were really nice to us. They were really nice. Yeah, I mean, really nice. You know, I worked at a moving company, took a year off from or summer off, and these guys, if they made extra money, you get an extra $1,000 on your check. You don't have to ask. You know, if you're hanging around, they order lunch for themselves. They order for whoever. Say, oh, there's 12 of you guys. Make sure everybody eats. You know what I mean? So the human compassion, and that's the thing about today, the human compassion. I really can't debate about nothing about, like, other countries, because I know that once you step on American soil, I become your enemy, dude. I become your enemy, and I believe in that number one. Americans come first. You know what I mean? No matter what, you know. And you hear a lot of people that complain about this country, you know. I wish somebody would say one day, for all you guys who want to leave, we got a one-way ticket out of here. Just go. Just go. Because, you know, even if this service that are around, you know, like you said, you have your other agendas. You know, I look at the whole world, though. And for Americans, we got a lot of pieces of shit that are laying around. They have opinions, but you're not even participating in the game. Get a job, get involved, do some PTA shit, you know, fucking do Little League. Dude, I can tell, dude, I've had the best life. You know, I have no complaints, you know. If, dude, even the little stuff I got, dude, if it was taken away, dude, I'm cool. You know what I mean? But I don't think people appreciate the things that people go through for this, even for the world. Even for, I'm in Illinois, I'll always be Chicago. You can put me, I don't care where you put me, I'm gonna always say I'm from Chicago. Matter of fact, I have it tattooed on me. Cubs, Bears, Bulls, Black Hawks, all that. I party with Chris Gelios. He's my friend, dude. Really. You know, that's why I was telling you, you know, I do know a lot of people to give you some kind of exposure. You know what I mean? But I'll have to get to know you a little bit better. I don't know how long it's gonna take to drag off before you go through your process of, you know, where you're meeting your deadline. But I have a lot of friends, dude. I have a lot of friends. Trust me, a lot of
Right.
Yeah, I mean, doing publicity and communication work is really the high level intelligence work, and I need you to help me do that. If I get confirmed that I'm going to be on the March 17th ballot, that'll be 4 months of politicking online. We don't have to go anywhere, do anything. It's all just digital. We've proved that we can raise funds on this app. But this app is, insane, petty, but funny. I think it's a roast app. People come on here. I roast myself. I roast other people. People try to roast me. So it's like being in high school. It's like being in the cafeteria or something.
Well, there's been days that's for that, and stuff like that. What I was going to say was, when you were saying you were campaigning, not to take away that we're on the cast right here. Probably my first time ever doing a podcast, believe it or not. But to make a long story short, sometimes it's not who you know, it's what you know. And believe it or not, dude, I walk up and down like Lincoln Avenue. Half the time I probably even know half the staff. I've been going 10 years. To make a long story short, it's about networking, interacting with people, remembering their names, and even if not, if I talk to a person, I guarantee you, they won't remember my name, but they'll be like, okay, that's who that is, and that's all I do. And it takes you a long way. A lot of people really don't know that. It gets your brother what you are. Even if you don't meet the numbers, you'd be surprised that you might look back and be like, oh, I lost by, 2,000 people? Hell, there's a chance that I can probably do this again. I don't know how you work in your campaign or where your office is or how you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, you're 100% right. I'm gonna pivot. If I don't win this, I'm gonna run for probably commissioner. For the Cook County Tax Appeals Assessor's Office, or I'll try to run for alderman or mayor, because I live in the northwest side, right by the Jefferson Park Blue Line stop, and getting signatures, I have the time to pull those signatures myself.
At the bus after rush hour when they're all coming home from
Yep.
work.
Yep.
That's all you gotta do. And just so you know, I lived in the Jefferson Park, I owned a flat over there. Off Sunnyside and Hamlin.
Yeah, I know it. It's a good area. I mean, I've been happy here. I haven't had any major problems and haven't been flooded out. But a lot of people in Portage Park, other areas, they got busted twice with floods. Flooding in Chicago is a problem.
But that's wonderful, huh? You got a little Polish.
Yeah, there's a lot of Polish.
My twin sister's married to a Polish guy. He's from the neighborhood over there. Been married 38 years or something like that. But yeah, I'm from the Jefferson Park. I was one of those guys that when I grew up, before they even had the extension, I used to try shoes in the airport and bring my shoe shine out. Back then, they didn't have all those stands and stuff. So the train would stop at Jefferson Park, and then you would have to catch a bus to connect to get to O'Hara. So it is a small world, see?
It's a small. How does that sound?
Jefferson Park.
It's a small world after all.
Yeah, this world was small, dude. This world's smaller than you think.
So wait, you said you were in a gang, right?
Yeah.
There's a gang here at the local bar called the Gaylords. And they're like, the guy was like, we're not gay, dude. I'm like, yeah, I get it. And I looked it up on YouTube, and it's like they got a documentary about their, gang.
I know them all. Not these young kids, but I know them all. The only thing about being in a gang is just sometimes people don't understand that. Here's the thing that people don't understand. If you talk to a person who is morally, they're not insulted by things. If they're behind a gay man or a gay woman, they don't say, look at that fucking faggot. They just respect it. You get what I'm saying? When you deal with people that come from low income, uneducated people, they say the fucking craziest, stupid shit. But when you look at, if he didn't live by the Gaylords, he would have been a Simon City Royal. But here's the thing about it. That gang stuff, it sounds bad, but maybe these people come from broken homes. They're not getting enough attention. And some of them come from great homes. You know, the worst thing, like you said, with drugs, people are like, oh my God, his dad's a judge. Oh my God, his mother is, you know, whatever. You know, sometimes these people fall for the attraction of what it is. You know what I mean? But first, the gay lord, I mean, even the gang, I do this. I wasted my time. I told you I ain't supposed to be here. So I don't know what happened. You know, evidently, if you believe in God, I do. God's like, dude, look, I got bigger plans for you. You're going to suffer now. But the point is, I'm not suffering. But the point is that I never thought that I have it. You know, and, you know, the gang stuff, that's another thing. You know, like, dude, I would love for somebody to get in the city and, man, just try to figure out, you're never going to unite them. But at least calm them the fuck down. You know, check this out, boss. I get it. You're tough, man. You are so fucking tough. Dude, you're scaring me. Cut it out. Hey, bro, have you ever thought about, like, having a huge city? Let's go hang out and shoot some pool, dude. Every once in a while, go to the fucking Cubs Park and say, hey, dude, you guys think you can give us 50 free tickets, you know, for, you know, an underprivileged neighborhood? You could probably use better words. I'm just being direct. And you tell those guys, hey, won't you guys get on the bus? Before you know, those guys are your friends. Even if you only help 1 out of the 50, you've done your job. You know, and that's the way people get it. It's only one person at a time. If you think you can knock out, you know, that's the same thing about the voting thing. People will tell you, yeah. You turn around and be like, dude, I didn't see it in the numbers. We campaigned for my son's godfather, dude. He only lost by 800 people, dude. And that's pretty big numbers, and he never ran. But the point was, we stayed out there. We hit the pavement. I don't know how old you are, but, you know, back in the day when you campaigned, you knocked on a lot of doors. And if you had to sit somewhere, hell, the person probably offer you a cup of coffee. Go in and have that cup of coffee. Because that one vote, she or he may know another 20 people. Be like, hey, I met that guy that's running. Guess what? Oh, he is so awesome. You wouldn't believe it. And they just go on and on and on. And before you know it, they probably dropped your name on out of their 20 people. You got 4 more people to vote for you. It's all about network and how you reach.
So
You have to reach.
I FOIA'd the Illinois Election Commission, and they sent me the whole data voter registration database for the whole district. It's 613,000 line items in an Excel spreadsheet. There's emails and all of that. There's also, we could do mailers, but you know, that's if we get on the March ballot. It's possible we can raise more money, but this app can be used to raise money for the campaign, and you know, 100% of what we raise will go to work that you do, whether it's here on the app or if it's, you know, voter registration.
How long has this guy been in office that you're running?
10 years. 10 years.
Has he done anything great, or you just? He's an easy candidate to go against, or is he like he's really shitty? I mean, sometimes people get used to shit. Danny Davis been in 40 years.
Well,
He's a piece of shit.
the theory is that his position is very tentative, and there's no real significant backing. He just happens to be the guy who has the money. He's got 10 million, but he's like his own. He's his own. You know, he's his own guy.
There are people in the area where you're at, because what happens too, they just get used to the normal. You know, because, you know, you got to get what I'm saying. You get older people, they get used to them, they're familiar with the name. It's easy to associate themselves. You kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And what happens is, that's why I said, how old is he? Is he in his 50s? Is he a little bit over 50?
His dad, he took it over from his dad. His dad's name is Ray LaHood, and he was Obama's transportation secretary.
So it was easy. He traded that name. You know, it's kind of like the same thing, like when you look at Biogovich. That dude should have never went to jail, but, you know, they let the guy go to jail. Why? I don't know.
Trump pardoned him too.
Well, of course he did, because his father-in-law ran the manor. The manor's over there on Lawrence, over there where that little river goes to Ravens, well, whatever. They can put their boats outside their house. Make a long story short, his father-in-law helped get him in the office. Then everybody wanted their compensation. I'll say compensation. I had a dirtier word, but I want you. But they wanted their retribution for backing him and helping him get into office. To make a long story short, he got mad. I believe they snitched on that dude, but he shouldn't have went to jail. I wouldn't care what nobody's. And you know the reason they tried it, I think they got him in the jail thing. I'm not precise with it, because Jesse Jackson got mad because he wasn't giving that seat to his son.
That's why it happened. And Jesse Jackson's a dirty fuck too. And I ain't gonna say much for that because I can say nasty things. I don't want to go to jail, have these people knocking on my door. But to make a long story short is, yeah, sometimes when they have a name that they're familiar with and people get comfortable with it, they kind of get easy. And if they're living in a good environment and everything is like copacetic and mellow, they figure why not change it? Why change it? And that's what I was asking you that before, because that means if you're knocking on doors, you're gonna have to be able to like have some ammunition, not rudely or abruptly, but like, hey, how you doing? Hey, we're doing a campaign, yeah. You know, the more you do it, like after the fifth doorstep, that stuff becomes normal to me. You just like how you say, get a little bit familiar, kind of break the monotony of it, and then you just start going in the motor before you know it. You know, every question needs an answer. You know. And sometimes, you know, if he's not doing a good job or he does have some hiccups, it works in your favor. You know what I mean? Because, well, unfortunately, there's no war, nothing going on right now. So the comfortability of using that, but I mean, well, a lot can change in the next 2 months too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so Thomas Massey is who I've like aligned myself with, and Rand Paul, and basically Massey, you know, put forth these discharge petitions before Speaker Johnson with regards to releasing all the Epstein files, and Darren LaHood refused to sign these discharge papers. And they're also blocking another congresswoman from, I think, Louisiana, who just filed a lawsuit against Johnson, who won't approve her congressional seat. She's a Democrat, I believe. And so they're one signature away from a showdown for Epstein transparency. But Darren LaHood is protecting Trump, and he's also an APAC recipient of 250,000 plus. So he's preventing a lot of stuff, and he sits on 3 different committees. The Chinese Oversight Committee, I think it's the Oversight Committee, and then there's a third one. But he's got 10 million. Most of it comes from health insurance providers, Blue Cross, and others. And so, anyways, the guy's got a lot of dough. He thinks he's just gonna coast it. I'm the only challenger. The only challenger. There's another guy. I wonder if he'll even have enough signatures. And he lives in a small town. He's got his little campaign going, but you know, we'll see how this goes down.
You never know. He can come to your team. You never know.
He might.
That's the open mind of a Parithio. You know, there's. If I told you something, you'd laugh. There's no such thing as problems, only solutions. Because the problem already exists. Now, what's the solution? You tell people common stuff like that, they'll start like looking. You know, the more you do it, you'd be surprised. I'm pretty good at words. You know, and believe it or not, you know, you can shake someone's hand and they can be undecided. But at least you're talking to them for 20 minutes. And if you're already talking to them and they sat there and they listen to everything that you had to say, chances are you'll be around the second time after you know, do the swoop. Even if you have to put that name down and remember, hey, when we campaigned in this area, hit that area again, because I had about 10 people. They were talking and they seemed like they were it. They just weren't convinced yet. You know, and that secondary is where that's close the deal. It's like buying a car. You know, if you work in a car dealership and you sell cars, if the customer walk in, your job is to knock it out of the park now. They came to you. You know what I mean? And, you know, I look at things in different, like, philosophies. I kind of break it down and make it simple. You know, if the guy's been in there for 10 years, I can get that part. You know, I'll probably end up digging his name up now, do a little research on the guy, just to see what it's about. And then the secondary thing is, too, you know, you're just getting wet. You get elected the first time, dude, you've actually, like, knocked it out of the ballpark. You know, if you feel you didn't have too many bad numbers, chances are you're just building a platform for maybe not the next election, but the one after that, when things kind of get, like, a little down, you can be like, okay, I can do this now. You know what I mean? Your name's already been acclimated. Once you acclimate that name, dude, you pretty much got an opportunity. You know, like you just said, anything's possible. Barack became president. You know, anything
Well, just getting the.
Never expected.
It's not about winning per se. The immediate first win is actually securing a spot on the ballot. If we do that, that's a huge victory for the campaign and for future political campaigns.
Well, first getting a signature. What do you mean? Getting basically, you're saying you have to be.
It has to be approved. I submit I submit my petition packet, and then their lawyers will challenge it and go line by line to try to negate the minimum threshold and kick me off the ballot.
I don't know. You do all that. Once you got the signatures, you pretty much is secured.
No, they sue.
No.
They sue. They sue and challenge. It's political law. It's a big thing.
Well, politics have always been big, and if you're coming out of Illinois, it's even bigger than you think. Because a lot of times people vote for their parties, and there's other people. I don't want to say nothing nasty, but you got to give up something to get something. And I'm not saying money. Guy might. This has nothing to do with it.
I don't see how else to do that.
There's no such thing as it's just dumb. But what I'm saying, none of you, none big. Just a simple example. I'm not gonna go real bad. The reason they don't fuck with Trump. Do you really want to know why they don't mess with Trump? Trump's a gangster, dude. Trump is a gangster. He's got dirt on everybody. You cannot take the whole Congress and Senate and shut them down like that. He knows that you're married and you got a boyfriend and fucking Iowa you break, and your wife doesn't know about it. Do what I say. Dude, does your wife know you have a whole family in Palm Springs? Shut up, dude. Why are these people shutting up, dude? There's always dirt behind the dirt. This dude's a gangster. Giuliani could be president, dude. And he's right.
Well, Giuliani, I don't know, do you follow Giuliani? Because he does a live stream almost every night. Every night this guy's been doing it forever now. And,
I like Trump. I read 3 or 4 of his books. And he said one thing. He says, only in America where you can bankrupt 1,000,000 times, will come back and be a millionaire. Now, here's the killer part. Trump tells these people, you're mad because I pay low taxes. You guys make the rules, I stick by them. Then you got Trump saying, I'm going to cut these people leave, I'm going to cut people off, and I get it, because the Democrats do. Those Democrats
go to johnforcongress.com and then click on the blog.
Dude.
Go down one and you'll see the
give
anecdote.
everything away but the kitchen sink. And I get it. And dude, I vote for a Republican. If I have to go for who's better fit for the job. But my point being is that you're saying how you said that. There's things to think about. Probably one day I'll probably have to drive down and hang out with you for a minute, have a cup of coffee. You'll probably bring me up to speed or give me a little bit more better education. That way I could have a better foundation, so that way at least when I'm interacting with people here and there, But yeah, I think that'd be trust me, dude. I know a lot of people. I know the whole Lincoln Avenue, dude, and the Rush Street. I know them all. I know people all up and down North Avenue on Weed Street, all the way from the Gentleman's Club to Joe's. The owners, not the people. The owners. I ran with a good circle, dude. Ran with a great circle of people. And that's why sometimes when you talk to somebody, whether you're talking too much, trust me, one time or another you're going to cross that path, whether it be a good situation or it's a bad situation. Hopefully it's always good. And you would say something like, don't I remember you? And you'd be like, oh, I'm John. You don't remember me. I was on your podcast. But that's how small it is. And what is Chicago, about 13 million?
Yeah, I think so.
People, and how rare is that you can bump into people that you haven't seen in 10 years? It shows you how small it is. But the networking is really good, And sometimes, you'd be surprised. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm definitely gonna look him up when you do get a chance when you're off the podcast. Text me that guy's name.
Yeah.
Research it on.
I call him the Hood Rat because his last name is the Hood. So I did a cartoon of a car hood and what's underneath it. But this app every morning, if you grab a cup of coffee and want to come on in the morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, waking up in the morning, people use this app a lot. So the morning time, if you have peace in your home and you got a cup of coffee, that would be the ideal time to hit this app with me. If you want to put just an American flag on your profile, I mean, we can manipulate and do a lot of communication on this app with people, and we could raise money, and we can do a show, and the secondary aspect of this whole campaign is the content and creating lots of videos. There's over 30,000 videos on YouTube across 30 different candidate John accounts. There's 30 different Instagram accounts. I have a beautiful Indian doctor who's demanding that I delete them all, otherwise she won't go out on a date with me. So, they cause problems for people because I've recorded people on this app playing the fools, wasting all their time saying stupid shit. So people know who I am and they hate me or they love me because I've recorded a lot of stupid people wasting a lot of time saying a lot of stupid shit.
Well, it's like the same content. Just so you know, one of my favorite, I don't know what you call him, is Howard Stern.
Yeah, this is technically, yeah, exactly.
He's a shot John. He doesn't, and now a lot of people don't know because he's gotten older. I think he's about 66 years old. And a lot of people, and he does great interviews and all that, but a lot of people, dude, he's a very smart man. Very smart man. And I watch him when he talks to people. It's kind of like when you get in front of a politician or a clergyman or a distinguished gentleman, you kind of change your poise a little bit. Maybe you're not intimidated, but you're kind of like on your best behavior. And that's how Howard Stern is. He does it for the reaction. Do you know why Trump ran for president? Howard Stern told him that. He says, dude, you got a #1 book out. If you here it goes 2 years later, he runs for president. I mean, even with him, you know why Putin, he gave Putin over $25 million as a complimentary gift to put a golf course out there in fucking Russia, and they wouldn't let him do it. As soon as he became president, now all of a sudden, that's what that hoo-ha was all about with him and Putin. And that's why his daughter was going back and forth. I don't know if they put a golf course out, but he couldn't put one out there because it's a conflict of interest. But Howard Stern was the one that told him, you should run for president. And why would a guy that's supposed to be that distinguished and polished be on Howard Stern? You get what I'm saying? He was testing some of the waves. Just like you said, you do have your podcast there. What would you use to be like one of your major things that where you can probably get your voice out there?
Well, if it would be, as this journalist who has a radio show, etc., down in Peoria, he won't do a Zoom call. So then he's like, come into the studio. Then he says, just meet me for coffee. I'm like, if you can't at least get on a Zoom call with me or join me, live, I mean, it's at this point, it's a waste of time. I've already done an in-person studio interview with NPR and WGL in Bloomington. So I've got enough, but this app is a lot of fun to play with because there's so many. They're the biggest Democrat political room. It's called Politically Incorrect with Patty and Doctor. All these crazy people who, yeah, 40 hours a week, 80 hours a week. They're sitting here playing Trump clips, analyzing everything, talking about everything, bitching about everything. It's a lot of African Americans, and but they're super social and they love to create content. And you hear things that you might not hear otherwise. They play Tulsi Gabbard clips. They are really scorched earth Trump policy, and so this app is a great place for the campaign. We're the only congressperson on here, candidate congressman running on here, and everybody here knows it. And many people on this app have donated to the campaign. So if you join me in the mornings, we can tag team and Royal Rumble, in the ring with these people on this app. And I'm looking for a guy like you to do it.
66 years old. And a lot of people 66 years old. I'll probably be up in more requirements just normal. I gave up coffee because I started drinking 2 pots a day. And I'd be walking around wired tired. So I kind of gave that stuff and I gave up the energy drinks. But yeah, I mean, I can see down the road, hanging out, see what your expectation is, what your direction, and what your kind of target, and figure out, where you figure out, where your spots where you really need to hit. You know, it's hard to say nowadays too, because the world's changed. People used to always like it. The politicians knock on your door and they talk to you, and it's like, I don't know what you did. You get these guys that are aldermen and precinct captains and so forth, on committee men. So they've always kept their head in the neighborhood, because you're first time running. That means that you have to kind of like get the ball rolling. You got to start figuring out how to establish in which way you're going with it. And that's how they used to do it back in the day. You know what I mean? But it's a different world. People don't want to answer their door. They got the doorbell. And a lot of times too, once they get to the door, it's how you initiate yourself and make the contact. The only thing is, I don't know, what's the big numbers that you think that would turn out voting? When was the last time that guy, was it over 1 million people? Was it 700,000 people? Was it 400,000 people? If you give me an idea, that gives me an idea of how you could approach it too.
I don't know his exact numbers.
For his last campaign, I don't know if you could Google that or figure that out. That'd be cool enough, because that gives you an idea of the range of
I know.
the scope of it.
Let's just say he gets let's just say he gets 200,000 votes, and let's say I get 16,000 votes. I mean, who knows what the numbers will be?
No, it's not. One other thing too, if you're passionate about what you believe in, you want people to hear what they're avoiding and not taking care of business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not being
I'll give
truthful
you an
about the
example.
debt. That's what it is. And like you said, the debt in Chicago is going to be forever, because debt makes money. But the fact is, like, he's not talking about it.
Other countries are our landlords. Trump told those people, we don't need your fucking gas. We got 7 years of gas. We have more gas than we need, but we keep it stocked. Here's the thing, and these other countries are our landlords, because that's where we get the gas from. You get what I'm saying? But when you spend $340 million a month giving it to, whether it be Afghanistan or be in the Middle East or Kuwait or whatever, they're our landlords. I think the most they sold us at one time was $940 million of petroleum gas. The thing is that Trump is probably the only one they're scared of this dude, because they know he's a maniac. Trust what I tell you. Now, I don't hate the dude. Sometimes I love the shit he does, because sometimes you have to put people in their place because of what's the way of saying?
Free Wendy Williams.
The Congress and the Senate, they get comfortable. They get so comfortable that they forget to even do their job. You get what I'm saying? And so, if you could find the numbers on this dude, it would give me an idea of like how to approach it. Because I'm pretty slick at approaching shit.
Yeah, a lot. There's a couple layers of numbers. One is like there's a term for it, but it's like the density of Republican voters, and the
It
consistency
doesn't
of
have
that.
to be precise, but idealistically, that's all I would ask. You know what I mean?
I've done a lot of analysis on this guy, and I have it all on the Instagram, like tons of screenshots, tons of Grok queries. I did tons of research into open secrets, also a congressional X, HR X. I've thoroughly examined his congressional record, his voting record, his donor record. I've got the guy mapped out pretty good, more so than anybody I've seen, and he doesn't get much heat, but I got a lot of positive press with the NPR interview, because they don't, the girl who does the voiceover, she's obviously a Democrat, and she gave me a great intro and press piece to run with, so I'm thankful for that. That was in Bloomington at Illinois State.
In Illinois. I was gonna say was that it sounds like you probably use kind of like how Biogovich used his father's influence, and that's probably what got him to where he is, like you just said. But to make a long story short, it's not about his money. Sometimes people get tired. I don't know what is he doing, but
Either
to make a long
his
story
greatest
short,
friends, his greatest friends or his greatest enemy is the soybean farmers. There's 40,000 voters down there in soybeans.
Well, but everybody doesn't count. It's like when you run for the presidency. Yeah, you have all these little small towns. Kentucky, Kansas City stuff. The big numbers come from like Florida, Chicago, California, and you get what I'm saying?
See, he's a big
So, I mean,
he's a
that's
big
just
Trump
more.
supporter. Him and Trump are thick as thieves, and all the soybean farmers down there need to get bailed out. So Trump is going to buy him the election. He doesn't need to spend a dollar running advertisements because Trump is going to buy out all the soybeans and give them, $20 billion and flush them out. So Trump could buy the election for Darren LaHood.
Well, you also got to remember one thing too. It's like Harold Washington. I wasn't a big fan of his, but I helped campaign because a few friends. I met that dude, what's his name, Jesse White, and we passed out turkeys all day, and all I did was laugh and joke the whole time. And that guy that went to prison, him and his wife, I don't know,
Go to
they do
John
that little
4,
project
the number
garbage over there
4,
off North Avenue,
Congress.com.
off Selway.
Then click
He
on
says,
blog.
hey, he wants to talk to you. I go, what am I?
Scroll
Being too
down.
vulgar? He goes, nah.
Click
He
on
tried to
antidote.
offer me a job, and I told him I can't do it. He offered me a job. He goes, dude, you have this energy all the time? All the fucking time. But to make a long story short is that this guy, dude, that 40,000 doesn't mean I think there could be a good defense on it. I think you can get over 100,000 votes. I mean, you're talking Illinois still, come on.
Well, what we also would like to do is we want to contact the Democrat candidates and debate the Democrat candidates because LaHood probably will not agree to a debate, but we can hopefully preemptively debate the Democrat candidates or the other Republican candidate and bring them here on this app, get them on YouTube, and that will be more, political publicity and credentials.
Do you really think they would sit there and put themselves in, it's like a deer in headlights? Sometimes people are scared because they don't know what you're going to say to them, or, as you would say, sometimes people, if you say something good enough, they'll get stagnated and they don't know what to say afterwards. You kind of get what I'm saying, click off. Well, I mean, you can get a debate going, it's good, but sometimes they kind of get, well, he's a first-time runner, it's a waste of time
He's the
for him.
first time runner.
Unless they look at it like it could be great exposure. You're looking at the debate part, they're looking at, I get free exposure. You kind of get what I'm saying? But it's not about his money. Sometimes people get tired. I don't know. How many people you got on there?
Across all the YouTube accounts, we have about 5,000 subscribers, and then maybe 5,000, 10,000 on Instagram, 15,000 on X, maybe. Every platform, technically, there's just like one platform because if you upload to YouTube, you can distribute that video to all other platforms.
I normally don't watch YouTube. I call it trash TV. I kind of watch and see what they're saying. I talk to my TV sometimes. I watch a lot of the politics, and it just blows me away because you can rip a lot of politicians apart just by some of the shit they say. Because at one time or another, they just lose interest and they just respond. It's called a reaction. But I was gonna say, I do watch a lot of YouTube, but I'm going to start looking at some of this stuff and just see where it is. Just do me a favor, whatever you do, when you're not busy sometime today, even if it's in the evening, send me that guy's name.
Yeah, I'll text you. I'll send you his YouTube.
I'll do a little research for him. The campaigning thing, if you ever get interested, I don't know what area you're living in. I don't know if you're in Schaumburg, whatever that. One day you can meet up, we'll have a cup of coffee, kind of put a face with it. I'll dress a little pump show. I only wear t-shirts and Levi's. Like I said, baby boomer, you'll catch me with a Led Zeppelin or Aerosmith or a Tom Petty t-shirt. And I wear jeans, but, I'll dress a little pump show, just show you that I'm well presented. And then on top of that, maybe you can critique me. You kind of like, give me direction, give me the focus, and give me an idea of what you want. If you think that you can use me down the road, and then what can happen is,
Well, if we win, we will have offices,
No, when you win. When you win. That's all I know is when you win. All that other stuff I don't do it. Because that's the other thing, is like giving yourself acceptance. It's like,
He's got 4 offices. He employs a lot of people.
well, he's got the machine backing him, dude. It's not about the 4 offices.
Well,
It's just got a machine that's back.
the machine backs him, yeah. And he's taking money from everybody. So, but this app could be our little butterfly effect, our little feather. Turn over the world with the weight of a feather. So, this app is where it's at, in my opinion.
How many people do you normally have on your app? The most at one time, 25, 40 people at one time?
Yeah, and then there's an evening show called Critical Thinking Forum, and that brings in hundreds. And then on the weekend, there's a show called Ask Uncle Steve, which brings in hundreds. And they know who I am, and they'll give me 5 minutes to speak or 60 seconds to read a poem. So, your voice on behalf of the campaign is like a campaign organizer, campaign director for the Rockford area for District 16. I mean, you can help pump the campaign on here. You can help generate donations. It's very simple. That johnforcongress.com. There's another link in the blog for Antidote, which is the donation platform. It's called Antidote, and I'll text you the link to it as well. But we got the checking account set up. It's a lot of work to do to get the freaking account set up. We've only brought in $1,000, but if the max we can bring in is $5K, and then after that we have to start disclosing all the donors and everything else. So I think we'll cap it at like 4,900. But what I'm saying is, with your help, you and I can raise $4,000 on this app. I know it's true. It's possible.
We'll have to sit down and talk, and then if it seems copacetic or seems like something will work out, I'll probably introduce you to a few of my friends. It's just a write-off to them. They don't mind writing checks out. And sometimes they'll do it just because it's me. I know the people that own half of Rush Street Lodge Management know the whole main office. I work for them. I run 7 of their businesses for them. I've been checking with my boy Don. Don is pretty cool. You want to put a poster board up in there, you'd be like, nah, fuck it, just put it up there. I don't give a fuck.
See,
What do you like?
the thing about this is it's all digital. Those relationships and that stuff could be great publicity, but just a cup of Joe in the morning, grab a joint, and come on here at 8, 9, 10 a.m., and we will light this show up on this app. It's direct to people's brains, immediate. It's live. So tomorrow or the next day, just think about it, and let's work together.
That's cool. So I just like when you were talking to your friend, I was like, hey, what kind of movies do you do? Are you local? Are you networking, whatever? I know people in the movie business too, dude.
Politics.
I told you I've been around millionaires, dude. That's what I'm around, none but millionaires. And when I work for these people, I treat their businesses like it's mine. I'm that kind of guy that, once you let me go, it's like let him go. Let him do what he does. And once you get to know me, be like, oh, he'll be cool by himself. Don't do me a favor, hit this area. But the point is that's how, you get things done. I know a lot of this stuff is digital and all that stuff. It's cool. Like I said, the biggest thing I grew up around was pinballs. There's computers and all. I did put my laptop on it. I can turn the phone on, stuff like that. I just always, kind of like what you call an old school kind of guy, But, like you said, and there's a lot to be learned from you, too. You might show me shit that I don't even know. Because, if you do this, you can go on my state line, you go to Peoria, Bloomington, go to Rochelle, go through Elgin, you know what I mean? Just zigzagging all the way through, you know what I mean? So, if you don't learn something every day, then you're just a waste. I believe in that. You always should learn something. But most definitely, you sound like you're laid back and everything. I don't even want a job for you if you get elected, just so you know. I don't want to work no more.
Well, that's so far down the road. I'm not. The whole thing is really just trying to cause chaos on this app with people in the morning who want to talk about the news, but you want to talk about the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover. You want to raise money. Like, it's a show, basically. We will be putting on a show once or twice a day on this app to raise money and cause political chaos.
Well, I was just wondering if there'd be more people on there. I mean, like you said, you know, a lot of people probably at work or whatever. That's probably why there's
No, there's a lot.
not enough people
See,
on there.
this is my room, but we can go invade another room and go discuss in other rooms. And I have multiple accounts, and I've got other, we can create more accounts. So the whole thing is you can, basically try to take over a room, invade a room, redirect the room. It's all just communication hypnosis in a way.
Right. You know, just like you said, some of the rooms, like you said, they can get like a little heated over it. I mean, it is what it is. That's the big thing about controversy. Controversy is good for you because now you know you're being heard. In my business, I learned that if you yell at people, they're not going to give me their best performance and they're going to be mad. But if I talk to them, they'll hear me. Chances are either I'll get my point across or they're just a piece of shit. But I get what you're saying. And like this thing you said, bringing up the content, being in a room, I like to at least have about over a dozen people. You know what I mean? Instead, it's kind of like it's me and you. I don't know if there's anybody else on here.
No, everybody left, but I'm also cutting clips over here for the campaign, so it's all content all the time. And you did a great job this morning. I mean, we've been here for how long? 2-3 hours now.
Yeah, but that stuff like that doesn't bother me. I'm a people person no matter what. Trust what I tell you. I've chef, dude. I'm telling you, dude. I'd be on my feet 12 hours, never sit down. When I do sit down, I'm finished though. But to make a long story short, I dealt with a lot of troubleshooting. We would hire a lot of beautiful waitresses and whatever you want to say, good looking men, whatever. But the point was that was eye candy. Man, those girls coming back, they didn't know shit. You know what I mean? At the time, I had to change my chef code, go out there, everybody else, everything, yada. Then turn around and be like, you know what? How about we wrap that up in a doggy bag and take that home? And do me a favor, what is it that you like in anything? Don't worry about the price. And then I'll tell the waitress the next 3 drinks, make sure they don't pay for them. You know what I mean? Because you fucked up and you're chasing my business away. I worked for some great guys. They were millionaires too. They loved me too. Worked for those guys for 8 years. But to make a long story short, that's where the people skills come in. And when you're in a business where you deal with people, they'll stay with you for the rest of your life. You'll be 66 years old. My daughter's like, Dad, it's their job. They can be dad. And I always tell somebody, hey, you're doing a great job. Has anybody told you that yet today? Yada. Wow, you're awesome today. You know what? Keep your smile. Don't give it away. It's human nature. But I actually live the way I live is that I try not to be stressed out about nothing. And that's the way you're supposed to be. Now, what you were talking about is I love challenges. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a big challenge to come on here, introduce yourself, or just immediately debate a room.
You're in a campaign, you never know. I might be the guy who can make your coffee for you when I come into the office. How come all he does is make coffee? Because you guys don't get it, leave him alone. But my point is, you never know where it's going to go and what direction it'll take me.
Exactly. And
I don't think you're bad. I've never even shook your hand yet.
This is mass communication, this app and these rooms and your profile and your followers, your friends, your connections. Like, this is a networking app that can have, in my opinion, if the country is so broke, they should cut all costs and use free telephony. This is basically a free conference call. So the question is, how does this country, get out of perpetual spiral death?
You want to know why? Because they take from one fine to secure another fine, and then when that fine's fucked up because you went to another fine, now you never put back what belongs to that fine, and they're fucking backed up because they have insufficient fines, and they manipulate it. Dude, snap, back on that conversation. They're not going to cut it. You can't cut some if you're going to continue taking taxes out of people's checks. You're not going to do it every time somebody goes to buy a 6-pack of beer or, I don't care, some water. You charge them tax.
Everybody, this is a
You can't
product.
continue to do that. And the thing is, some people say they inherit that. America has been in debt for like the last 30 years. I don't know how old you are, but FICA, because they spent all that money from the Social Security, people who were born in 2000, maybe, I don't know, 1990. But as you look at the new generation, they think it's normal. But guess what? When they did it, that was just a second texting on the thing. But, you know, it's hard. Like, even if you were to get in office and you got in a circle of people, the biggest problem is that whatchamacallit, you can't help other countries, as bad as it sounds. You know, dude, it's bad. Even Bosnia, dude, that's a tragedy. It is a tragedy. But guess what? You're taking all that money over there. I'm quite sure we gave them $1 trillion. You may not believe it, but I know we did. Not in cash, but they got it through all the supplies and all the fucking artillery and all that stuff. They gave them over $1 trillion. Don't get it twisted. They're never going to tell me that. But you know why they did it? Because we're not savages. You kind of get what I'm saying? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Because my phone comes in and out. Sorry.
Let me see here. Somebody texted me for the donation link. Let me text it to you as well.
So you never had no sleep yet since you started running, huh?
I've got everything fairly well organized over here. I got a lot of work I got to do today because I have to go to the notary and get you know, hundreds of petitions notarized, and I gotta fill out the blanks and then sign it. And so it's like my paperwork smells like cigarette smoke. So I gotta sit there and literally probably go through it with gloves on. Last time I had to wash my hands for like 2 days to get the cigarette smells out of my hands from this paperwork.
Well, I smoke cigarettes, but here's the killer part. When I go to my girl's house, I won't smoke for 2 or 3 days. She lives off Clark Street, 2551 North Clark, over there by a Wiener Circle. You know, but to make a long story short, that's all cool. You know, you'll be all right. I think you'll be way more than all right. You know, it seems like you got a laid back chemistry, and you know, sound like you don't freak out like they were on the radio when you really like open up.
Yeah, I mean, this is all just, you know, legit grassroots. I'm trying to get this Nicole to join us. I don't know if she can. Let me text her one more time. Can you join us for 5 minutes on Clubhouse? Yeah, thanks. I mean, thanks for being here. And, you know, this is, I don't know, I think I started this in July or August. And I've been campaigning on this app, and I've recorded so many debates and conversations on this app, and gotten into so many conflicts with so many people on this app. You have no idea. I have people that have come after me from this app, mass reported me, called authorities on me. I mean, you know, we're talking about highly neurotic, crazy, insane people of this app. But you know, the thing that I think they hate the most is that I've recorded all of their hyper communication, hyper aggression, crazy takes, alcoholic binges, you know, crazy activity Saturday nights on this app. But even throughout the day, like the day that Charlie Kirk, and recording those reactions. So this app has been a lot of content.
He uses your recording for ammunition.
What was that?
He uses your recordings for his ammunition.
Who? I don't understand.
You said Charlie or whoever it was.
Yeah.
Isn't that the guy you're running against?
No. Charlie Kirk was a young guy, got assassinated in Utah by some, you know, liberal Democrat Peter Puffer. But I'm running against Darren LaHood, and it's the 16th district. It's Rockford, Peoria, Bloomington Normal, Quincy, Perkins.
I already got DARE. That's cool. But what I was gonna say was, yeah, and that's cool. Whenever you can get energy coming out of other people, then that means you've done your job.
Exactly.
You know, you said something about politically incorrect, some other thing or whatever you call it. That's why I actually do like Bill Maher.
Oh, I do. I like him. I love. He's got a YouTube podcast and he interviews the most amazing people. Has the most amazing, insight and deep conversations and shit you never hear anywhere else.
He's an intellectual, though. Intellectual people could be pissed off and walk away, shake your hand, and say, "Here, you want a glass of bourbon?" That's how you're supposed to do it. You're laughing. It's a true statement, bro. You know. But
Yeah.
I was gonna say was that yeah, the heated arguments, that's a good target. That means that at least you got a spark out of that. You know, a lot of people don't really get it. You know, I probably could have ran for office for some bullshit in Chicago, but I did. You know, my kids went to school with Governor Thompson's daughter.
Hmm.
You know,
I saw him once
that's what
at Arlington Racetrack.
man. I saw him up through all the fucking what do they call that stuff when the kids have to do the auditorium and be on the stage all the time, you know. Biogovich, I met him a few times, you know what I mean? But the regular committee meeting, I met him all. I've been around the block, dude. The only thing is, like I said, yeah, I wasn't a gay. It was surprising that I ended up, my life flipped over after I had my daughter. And after I had my daughter, dude, it was like, wow. I've had the best life since, you know. I went somewhere to wash dishes. I grew up and decided to go to chef school. You know, make a lot of money, really. Make a lot of money. You know, I get off my ass right now and go to work and make probably like $75,000 a year. I just don't want the aggravation anymore. You know? Yeah, it's true. You know, I took the kids, I think I was a chaperone. Those kids, I was hung over and we were sitting on that grass and fucking the field museum across from the Soldiers Field. I told them kids, throw that shit away. I'm paying for everybody's lunch. Let's go away. I'm not sitting in this hot heat. But to make a long story short, so I was a chaperone, and I think I had Pat O'Connor. His son was in my son's room. My son didn't even do no research. He says, "Hey, O'Connor, give me your footnotes." You know, I'm like, Mark, that's not how it works. He goes, "Dad, I'm going. My kids are actually intelligent." You know, but you know, the thing is that yeah, I get it. I get it. I could probably do Rockford area. If we sit down and talk, I could probably just take care of Rockford for you too as well. That wouldn't be none. I get up at like 8 in the morning, shower shit and shave it, turn around and hit doors and hit doors. You know what's the worst thing about it though? People don't vote anymore.
I know that's why it's like you have to have your own organization and your own network of active participants, and but we're building up critical mass. I mean, it might not hit this campaign, but again, this is all about organizing, the organizing. So future campaigns, it's possible that we will have enough organizing in place to keep pushing further.
Just like I told you, like old school is. You know, it's kind of like they shake their hand, they talk to them. Half the time they have, their volunteers or people that are campaigning. They come and pick them up and take them right to the booth. You know what I mean? I'm just saying different time, different era. You know, the computer thing, it's just kind of like saying, money will probably be extinct in the next 20 years. You know what I mean? Nobody really cares, you know. So it's just like, it's different. The times just have completely changed, you know. But the best thing is, like, if you can talk to somebody and you can talk to them for 3 minutes, kind of get in and get out of there and leave some intact in their brain, you know. Chances are maybe you said something that transpired that would tell them, you know what? He seems pretty awesome. I'm going to give that guy a chance. You know what I mean?
Another thing I thought about trying to do was like an event in Rockford called like the Darren LaHood the Congressional Roast at some bar, and have the bar sponsor it. It could be a Democrat bar, it doesn't matter, but like some bar to do a Darren LaHood roast, and then.
Well, I know the guy that's the alderman in the 8th Ward did when I helped this dude run for mayor. I texted him about like 2 weeks ago because I gave him a break because I knew he had given up a lot of his once he's married. And he was in charge in Chicago of all the crooked stores. That was his, what do you call it? His region. And him, if you want to, give me like a couple days and maybe hopefully we sit down and talk. I'll be in the city over the weekend too. And whatchamacallit, I can actually talk to him and see if he can help me out. Be like, hey, check this out. I'm talking to this guy right here. He's running for office. And, we could use some help. And he knows a lot of his reach is big, dude. He's got big reach. And when I was hanging out with him and all that, for what was it, to wait for the count to come in, I ended up meeting a few of these guys that run some of the district out here. I actually grabbed their numbers still. I keep telling you, when you meet people, dude, rather you don't see them again, your impression but you should be who you are every time, not sometime, but all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a few people that I can reach out to out here. But I could probably reach out to him. I got his name down. He didn't win, but guess what his name is? Mayor. His name's Kurt. And he was a really nice guy, dude. Really cool guy. Like I told you, when he launched it, the way he talked, you thought he won. But spiritual guy too. Real good guy though. Partied their ass off, all that stuff. I think we're at the firehouse. I can't remember where the fuck we were when we did that event. But definitely, yeah, I can definitely I can do some stuff in Rockford as well.
All right. Well, let's. I mean, we don't have to do anything right away. We'll know end of next week. Yeah, but this app, I'm telling you, in the morning time, put an American flag on your profile. Come into. I'll send you the link to the politically correct room and to other rooms as I see them. And if you're available, come in and stump and promote for the campaign to elect candidate John. And then, see what happens. And maybe we'll raise money. And I sent you the donation link. You can put that in your profile. And anything we raise, will be sent directly to you to do on the ground, work, whether it's organizing door knockers or doing mailers or whatever it is. But it'll all go to you. Anything you raise, anything I raise while we're together on this app will go to you and to the campaign, so.
Just so you understand, I don't even do all that Cash App and all that stuff, so I probably would have to mention you. I don't do all that stuff. I know it sounds like it. Dude, I've never moved into the real world. All I got on if you look at my Facebook, it's all Led Zeppelin. That's it. Led Zeppelin, Allman Brothers, stuff like that. But to make a long story short, we'll figure that out down the road. If you do get an opportunity somewhere, if not this week, next week, figure out where you're going to be at. Maybe sit down and have a cup of coffee. Kind of give me a real good direction, idealistically, of how you would want me to confront and deal with other people, what's the expectations, figure out, numbers. Between me and you, I hate to say something bad, but, wherever you go, there's a ghetto and there's a good neighborhood.
Yeah.
I don't really go down to the ghetto because I have low expectations sometimes. Sorry, that's your problem, ain't mine. My mom was black and she was a racist, so when Chris Rock said there's black people and there's niggas, my mom didn't like niggas. I come from an educated family too, so basically, you want to go in the areas where people, and you know what's weird though, whether you believe it or not, John, senior citizens will vote for you.
Yeah, I know. It's these assisted living facilities, they do ballot harvesting at them.
Well, the thing about it is they just take it a little bit more serious. You know what I mean? And they're willing to put on their gloves and their mitts and scarf, saying, "Hey, Maggie, are you gonna go vote? Yeah, Trish, I'll be out there in a minute. How about I pick you up?" But they vote. This whole new generation, 25 years, don't put their name down on nothing. It's hard to get people to get up and vote.
I know. That's I realize that it's unbelievable, like that people have to see my name and connect that with a video, a picture, a news article, and associate and punch John Kitover on the ballot. So that's the thing, is where if I could get a viral breakout publicity piece, if I could get on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, if I could get any national press, that would be like a resume changing piece of content and media. So I know I need to spend more work on trying to achieve that.
The spin is trying to figure out how to get you do it. That's the worst thing I hate about not being in Chicago the last 10 years. I've lost a lot of resources and connections, but I do still have a lot of them down there. And then the other thing too is like I was telling you, I mean, if you can find some, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way of doing that. The last person I knew that was in the news was Joan Esposito when she was dating Horace Grant. You know, because they used to come and hang down a lot. But I know she ain't on no news in Chicago because I haven't heard her name in a while. You know, but you know, have you heard about Channel 11, TTW?
Yeah.
You know, because they'll put you on there not because they always do. They do more community service. Well, I don't know what you call that. It's an independent network. How about that? Because if you can get on there this evening, you would have to be involved in a scandal. You'd be in there 10 seconds flat. You know, John was running for this position, and guess what? He had a joint in his mouth. You get more publicity on your negative than you will on your positive. You know what I mean?
We turned it around because everything is literally 3 seconds or less nowadays. So, they're all spamming. Every one of them, AOC to Rashida Tlaib, everybody is just these content. You know how many Congress people there are, and how many posts, and how many accounts, and how many followers, and it's a publicity communication thing. And they've already exposed that most of these people give up their voting card and auto vote everything. So the whole thing is a lobbyist driven, and they're just skimming. But anyways, let's reconnect tomorrow morning if you're available on this app, and I'll text you. Feel free to text or call me, and but let's reconvene tomorrow morning, maybe 8, 9 o'clock.
Okay, what time does that podcast start?
8, 9, 10 a.m. Whenever we both connect, whatever time is best for you. But I'm usually up at 8 a.m.
I'll be on there tomorrow at 8:00.
Okay, sounds good. Let's talk tomorrow at 8 then.
All right, try to enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, thanks. You too, Eric. Talk to you soon. Okay,
Thanks.
bye.
Have to keep following up.
Okay, that's a cut. Go to johnforcongress.com. Thanks, everybody.